Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
A good Saturday morning for Outdoors with Larry Ray as we have a special kind of an in-house show today with our co-host. Most of the co-hosts, we're having difficulty reaching John Gordon, but of course he may be, I don't know what he might be doing on this frosty Christmas morning, but we did tape this a little bit earlier so we wouldn't have to be in the studio on Saturday morning, but we're acting like it's Saturday morning as we usually do, and I'm really happy to have in the studio with me this morning, both of them coming from out of town, Charlie Covington's all the way from Bartlett, Frank Barton all the way from Marion, Arkansas. Appreciate them being here on this show, and we'll talk a little bit more with Frank in a little while, but I want to get Charlie. Charlie hadn't been on in quite a while, and people have asked, what happened to your poet laureate? And I said, well, he didn't pass away. You know, I mean, he's still
thank goodness. He's
still part of the team, and he's got on his shirt today, which is really pretty neat and everything. But Charlie, I know that a man of poetry, and I don't know if we've ever asked you how you got into this part, Charlie. Were you in college when did high school? When did you start writing poetry?
As I remember, Larry, I wrote a poem somewhere early in 1963. This was for a girl I was dating at the time.
Ah, yes.
Someone who is not my present wife.
Okay.
So we won't press that any further.
No, but
then in college, I had different experiences that inspired some poetic thoughts, and I wrote a few things then. I had one poem put in a school publication, and I was real proud about that. But
well, sure, yeah.
Then in seminary, later on, I wrote a few, primarily about children, but then long after that and marriage and working, I've always had an interest in the outdoors and animals and the mountains and streams. And these are the things that really spurred my interest, and I have been writing now about 25 years, and just love it. It's one of the most fun things I do.
Do they come to you in dreams, or do you? How do you come up with the ideas?
Sometimes I'm driving in the car down the road. Sometimes I'm sitting watching TV, and or sometimes I'm reading at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something that happens in the United States or in the military. Just different things trigger my interest.
Well, I tell you what, I want you to hang on. We're going to get John Gordon on the line, and we're going to let John hear this poem from Charlie. It's entitled again, Charlie, what is it again now?
In the Midst of It All.
In the Midst of It All. Okay, Shelby, why don't you get John on the line? He's ready. He said he's sorry he's late, but that's okay, and because I want him to hear this too. We're going to cut into his time, so that'll work fine. So get John Gordon on, and then Charlie Covington will go, and Frank will get to critique it. And let's go, Charlie. Let's hear it.
Okay, I should say, Larry, by way of introduction, that most of us have a desire that when we see important events coming up in our future, whether it's an anniversary or something like that, we try not to let anything interfere with that or take away from the meaning of it. So that's the thought behind this poem, In the Midst of It All. Okay. And I should say that I wrote this in December of 2014, but because it has to do with Christmas, it's applicable every year. And it goes like this. We all like to hope for an ideal time for important events in this life, and if at all possible, to avoid the stress which seems to crowd in with its strife. But alas, get a grip. It isn't that way. The ideal seems never to come. For just when we want to walk in life or slow down to a walk, we speed up and are still on the run. Was it not like this when Jesus was born? Wicked rulers still sat on their thrones. Back in a time when word traveled slow, no computers or TVs or cell phones.
Yep.
There was a sense in which life was usual. There were social and economic needs, soldiers and rulers taking their advantage, and leaders involved in underhanded deeds. And for very extraordinary special events, we could wish that time come to a stop, to ensure that there would be no rash interference, for that in our focus would blur out and drop. But the truth of it all is that life doesn't pause. We make room, reach out, and embrace. And so it is with the advent of Jesus. He came to redeem our sick human race. Appearing to magi and then lowly shepherds, a star did appear and angels did call. But time didn't pause or go into eclipse. Christ was born in the midst of it all. And thus he has entered time as we know it, to show us God's wonderful love. He elevates life above the mundane and points us to matters above. May we not be like that proprietor of old who replied, "We have no room in our inn." May we open our hearts to lives and lives to the one who lived and died to free us from sin. So this year in our Christmas observance, may we deal with the crowds at the mall. Let us all remember the advent of Christ. He comes to us in the midst of it all.
All right. Very good, Charlie. And I, in the midst of it all is right. I mean, no matter where you might be. And Charlie, of course, is a graduate of Southwestern Seminary, or where?
Southern Seminary.
Oh, I was close.
That's my wife.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Betty's there. Okay, but both of them I know are that way. So we're glad to have Charlie and Betty part of our friendship and everything. So in the midst, and we will for sure put Charlie Covenant's poem on LROutdoors.com and post that on this Christmas Saturday morning. But all right, we do have John Gordon on the line.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Larry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And we've told the people we're not here on Saturday morning because it's Christmas. We're taping this a little early and getting a little bit from the co-host. And so glad that we could track John Gordon down. Of course, he's a senior communications specialist for Ducks Unlimited, but been a part of this show, I think, since Mike Checkett decided to go north, that John has stepped in and fills in on the normally on the second Saturday of each month. And this, we're kind of asking everybody, what was 2021 like for the Gordon family?
Well, it was pretty good, Larry. You can't complain. I mean, the last couple of years, of course, have been a little different for all of us with the way things have been around the country. But, pretty good. It's a lot to be thankful for. It had some good times this year and been on some good hunts so far this year. And looking forward to more. And,
of course, in your job, you were on the road. I mean, shooting the DU TV. Mm-hmm. So where have you been in this past year?
Well, let's see. I've been to South Dakota. Just got back from California.
Okay.
About a week ago. Yeah,
yes.
that was a good trip. I actually wasn't out there for the TV show. I was out there on a media trip with Joe Gendel from Outdoor Life.
Okay.
He's doing a comprehensive article on the challenges that California faces involving water. And how that's affecting waterfowl and wetlands habitat out there, and it's definitely different from here.
Where were you?
I really got my eyes open.
Yeah,
I was in Northern California, Sacramento Valley.
Okay.
North of Sacramento, the city, in a town called Yuba City.
I know where that is.
And,
not far from
that's big rice country.
Yeah, not far from Yosemite. So I mean,
yeah, that's right.
Pretty close, but it's dry out there, isn't it? So.
It's dry. Fortunately, they've gotten some rain in the last couple of weeks. That's really helped a lot.
Uh-huh.
But I got to see firsthand that the rice growers in the area had to, voluntarily cut back on their crop production 25 to 30%. Wow. You think about that, what kind of hit they had to take.
How about that, Frank?
Just because there wasn't enough water.
Yeah. And we don't think about that. We're thinking of Napa Valley and places like that. But when you go into that area on down through Bakersfield and all of that is Ron Wong likes to call it the Delta of California.
Right,
I mean,
it is.
They rely on rain when they can get it. So John, I know that we're going to have to let you go here in a few minutes, but 2022, are y'all rolling for the show, the DUTV?
Oh yeah, man. We filmed shows back to back in North Dakota, Maine, and Louisiana most recently. And next up, we've got Oklahoma and Kansas and Arkansas and Mississippi. That'll close out the year for the DUTV show. And I produce DU Films as well.
Yes,
and I'll be traveling over to Texas, in Rockport, Texas, actually.
Okay,
coming up here at the beginning of the year for a film out there. So, man, it's rolling on.
And that's pretty familiar country for you, isn't it? I mean,
it is. I spent a lot of time in the El Campo area.
Yeah.
Katy, Eagle Lake, all those places when I was in my goose scouting days, and then later on living down there. So it was, it's my old stomping ground. So anytime I get a chance to go back, I really like that middle Texas coast area there.
You're a stomper. Really cool. You're a stomper. That's for sure. John, we want to let you
know. I'm stomping, Larry.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you helping out during the year, and we hope you continue to be part of this team. John, you've really done a wonderful job when you're available, and I realize you're on the road so much, but hey, y'all just go to ducks.org or Google John Gordon, and you'll see all the different things that John does and things like that. John, appreciate you again, buddy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and look forward to talking to you in January, maybe after you get back from that Texas trip, okay?
There you go. Thanks, Larry. Merry Christmas.
All right, buddy. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. John Gordon is out of here, and we're going to come right back and talk to Frank Barton. Get him up over there, Frank. Get away. Here we go. All right, we'll be right back.